Okay, hello. Today we are going to start the first chapter of history, Unit 3, first chapter, that is Rise of Nationalism in Europe. The first two unit which was taught earlier. We will see the third unit, the Age of Revolution, which occurred in 1830 and 1848. So what was the Age of Revolution? What kind of movement occurred in France? We will see in this chapter. So as I have discussed in the earlier chapter, that conservative was spreading its power in Europe. Conservative regime was very powerful. On the other hand, liberal nationalists, they also did revolt in July 1830. And who was involved in the nationalist struggle? So liberal nationalists involved the educated middle classes, rich groups or elite, ELITE, elite groups or rich groups, among whom were the professors, teachers, clerks, and members of the commercial classes. They all took part in the revolution of 1830 against the conservative, and they overthrown the Bourbon dynasty, which was installed by the conservative. And after overthrowing, they established the constitutional monarchy in France, whose head was Louis Philippe. So Louis Philippe was installed to the throne and became the head. And July Revolution sparked or spread in all part of the Europe, and that also sparked, July Revolution sparked and revolt in Brussels, which led the Belgium breaking away from the United Kingdoms of Netherlands. So Brussels was the part of the United Kingdom of Netherlands. It broke away from the United Kingdom of Netherlands, or you can say separated herself from the United Kingdom of Netherlands. So the revolutionary feeling, revolutionaries mobiled the feeling of the masses in Europe, and to mobilize the masses, what tools they used? So they used the tools like poem. Artists also, they drew number of art and drawing to mobilize the masses. And Greek was the country which was under the control of the Ottoman Empire. Ottoman Empire was the Muslim country. Greek also demanded independence. Greek also demanded independence from the Ottoman Empire, which was the Muslim nation. And the poets and the poets and artists, they mobilized the public opinion or emotions of the people. In this way, and also the English poet Lord Byron organized funds to participate in the revolution. Later on, he died in fever in 1824. Finally, the Treaty of Constantinople, or you can say in Hindi, Kustuntuniya. Treaty of Constantinople in 1832, which was signed and declared the Greece as an independent nation. So Greece became independent from the clutch of Ottoman Empire, which was, Greek was the part of Ottoman Empire. So as Metternich once remarked that when France sneezes, the rest of the Europe catches cold, which means anything happened in France, the rest of the Europe also catches cold, or rest of the Europe also came under the clutch of France. So figure 8, the massacre at Creus. Figure 8, you can see the massacre at Creus, 1824. The France painter Eugene Delacroix, who was the France painter. In this painting, he had shown that 20,000 Greeks were said to have been killed by the Turks on the island of Creus. So in the island of Creus, 20,000 Greeks were killed in the island of Creus by the Turk or Ottoman Empire, which was the Muslim nation. So this painting created sympathy among the Greeks. Now we will see the next heading, the Romani or romantic imagination and national feelings. The national feeling did not develop by the war or the territorial expansion. It was developed by the various art, poetry, drama, music. So to arouse the national feelings among the masses, the poetry, art, drama, music, all this played very important role to arouse the feeling of the masses or to build the public opinion. And the romantic or Romani artists started a cultural movement in which they criticized the science and technology and focused on the emotional feelings. And their effort was to create a sense of shared collective heritage, common cultural past as the basis of a nation. So Romani artists started the cultural movement in which they created a sense of shared collective heritage, a common cultural past, which was the basis of a nation. And German philosopher Johann Gottfried, who claimed that true German culture was involved in common people. So according to the Johann Gottfried, he said the true German culture was involved in the common people. That is also called in Germany Das Volk. And the nation was called the Volksgeist. So the nation's true spirit came through folk song, folk poetry and folk dances. So as I have discussed earlier, that dance, drama, tales, all this played very important role to develop the public opinion of the people of Europe. So collecting and recording these folk culture was essential for the nation building. So according to the Johann Gottfried, he said that collecting the folk culture, collecting and recording the folk culture, that was essential for the nation building, and its aim was to send messages to the large audiences who were illiterate, and also through the story, folk tales, dance, large illiterate audience could also understand the importance or greatness of their country. We could also see there was the country Poland, which was under the control of the great powers, Russia, Prussia and Austria, who controlled the Poland in the last year of the 18th century, or in the end of the 18th century. Although Poland was not an independent territory, but it could revive its identity or kept alive its identity with the help of music and language. So Poland was under the control of great power, Russia, Prussia and Austria, but Poland kept its identity alive with the help of music and language. We will see one example. Karol Kurpinski fought national struggle through the opera and music. So Karol Kurpinski, who was the musician or singer, who also fought the national struggle with the help of opera and music. Folk dance like the Polonaise, that is the Poland dance, Polonaise, and the Mazurka, Polonaise and Mazurka, which was the folk dance of Poland, turned into the nationalist symbol. So these two symbols became the nationalist symbol, that is Polonaise and Mazurka. Language also played very important role to awaken the masses. And Russian occupied territory, police was removed from the school and imposed Russian language everywhere. So Poland, some territory was controlled by the Russia. So Russia removed the Polish language, and in the place of Polish language, Russia imposed the Russian language everywhere. So in 1831, an armed revolt against the Russian rule was rushed. So Poland people, they revolted against the Russia, but their revolt was crushed by the army in Russia. But Poland used language as a weapon of movement, and because of this language, the Poland also became the independent nation. Many priests and bishops of Poland who was preaching in Polish language was put behind the bar or jail. Bishop and priest who were giving the religious instruction in Polish language were put in jail, and the use of Polish language came to be seen as a symbol of struggle or national struggle. So you can also see in box 1 the Grimm brothers, folk tales and nation building. Jacob Grimm and Wilhelm were the brother and born in 1785 and 1786 in the city of Hanau in Germany when they were studying law. They soon developed an interest in collecting old folk tales. They visited to the village side and started collecting folk tales. These folk tales were published in 1812, and they made folk tale as a tool to arouse nationalist sentiments. So as you have seen, the Grimm brothers, folk tales and nation buildings. So Grimm brothers, Jacob Grimm and Wilhelm, who were the brothers, and they started collecting the folk tales, and by collecting the folk tales they could arouse the national sentiment. This you can see in box 1. Now we will see the hunger, hardship and popular revolt. In 1830s were the year of great economic hardship in Europe, and in 1850 the population of Europe increased and there were widespread unemployment in most of the countries. Population of rural areas migrated to the cities. So they migrated to the cities. Cities were overcrowded, and small producers in cities faced stiff competition because more and more imported goods which comes from the England. As you know, the England was industrialized earlier. Earlier in the mid of the 18th century. So more and more goods came from the England, and because of this stiff competition from England or import of goods from England, the Europe could not, or Europe producers or supplier, they could not compete with the imported goods which came from England. Imported goods was cheaper which came from England, but the goods which was made in Europe which was costlier. So there was stiff competition. Only 50% of the goods which was produced in factory in England, not in England, in Europe, 50% of goods which was produced in Europe, and rest of the 50% of goods that came from the rural area. So this was the one of the problem that occurred in Europe, and the reason where aristocracy, rich section of the society, they enjoyed all the privileges. They were free from the feudal dues and all the obligations, and because of the price rise or inflation, Inflation means price rise and bad harvest. There were spread of poverty in urban and rural areas. And because of the price rise, because of the stiff competition, because of the bad harvest, the people became poor in Europe. There were widespread in poverty in Europe. The year 1848, there were food shortage and unemployment, brought the population of Paris on road. So France capital, Paris. So because of the increase in price and unemployment, food shortage, this created the problem to the people of our city of Paris. They came on the road and people started barricading the area, which forced Louis Philippe to flee. And as you remember, the Louis Philippe installed constitutional monarchy in France by the liberal nationalist. But Louis Philippe could not control the situation, a price rise and competition, stiff competition are goods which imported from England. So due to that, there were lots of problems which arose in France. The people of France, they came on the road and they abdicated or attacked the monarch. Monarch fled to the neighboring nation, but neighboring nation denied to give him shelter. And after, when the army came and marched everywhere in the Paris, so after 24 hours, the Louis Philippe came to the France, and National Assembly proclaimed a republic, granted suffrage to all. All the person with the age of 21 years were given the right to vote or universal adult suffrage, and all were guaranteed the right to work. All people were guaranteed right to work. National workshops were set up to provide employment. So these all changes which took place after the revolution of 1848, revolution of 1848. So after the revolution of 1848, the Louis Philippe, who fled to the neighboring nation, National Assembly proclaimed a republic and granted suffrage to all male above 21, and right to work was granted. Along with that, national workshop which was set up to provide the employment. Now we will see the case of 1845, the weavers of Silesia, 1845. The weavers of Silesia had led a revolt against the contractor who supplied them raw materials and gave them order for the finished goods. Finished goods means complete goods which are ready to use. So what is finished goods? That is, this marker is comprised of these so many materials, but now this is complete, became the complete marker after adding the ink after adding the so many materials in this. So this became the finished goods and it is ready to used. It is ready to be used. So in 1845, the case of Silesia, the weavers, they revolted against the contractor because the suppliers reduced the weavers' payment, and the textiles workers or textiles weavers, they suffered by a contractor. Contractor reduced the weavers' payment. Journalist Wilhelm Wolff described the event. What he said about the event of Silesia: 18,000 villagers who were engaged in the cotton weaving occupation. The weavers' condition were extremely poor. So 18,000 villagers were employed in the cotton weaving factory or cotton weaving occupation. The contractor had taken the advantage of the weaver. The contractor reduced the prices of goods in which the weavers were unable to get any benefit of their produce. So when the contractor reduced the price of the textiles, the weavers could not gain any profit from their produce. They could not meet their both ends meet. So on 4th of June at 2 p.m., a large crowd of weavers marched to Paris and attacked on the Haveli or mansion of contractor, and the weavers were beaten often and even tortured. The angry weavers smashed the window pane, furniture, and looted the supplies of clothes. The contractor fled to the neighboring villages where they did not get shelter. So contractor also, when they had seen the angry mob of weavers, when they attacked on their Haveli, the angry mob, they moved, the contractor moved to the neighboring city. Neighboring city had not given the shelter to them. But anyhow, after when the army captured the position, they returned after 24 hours. So you can also see the peasant uprising in figure 9. We will see the revolution of 1848, the revolution of the liberal, how the liberal they did the revolution. Along with the revolt of the poor, unemployed, starving peasants and the workers in many European countries in the year of 1848, a revolution led by the educated middle classes was underway. So educated middle classes, they were continuing their revolt. Number of people they involved in the revolt, but along with that, educated middle classes, they were also active in the revolt. Due to revolution, universal male suffrage, which was granted to all male people who was completed the age of 21 or above, as we have seen during the time of which occurred during the time of Louis Philippe. Means after the Louis Philippe abdication. So in other part of the Europe where independent nation state did not exist, so along with the France, there were no in Europe there were most of the state or most of the nations which was not independent. So the men and women of the Germany, Italy, Poland and Austria-Hungarian Empire demanded constitutionalism with national unification. So more and more states are France neighboring states like Germany, Italy, Poland, Austria, Hungary, all this demanded a constitution with national unification. Means they wanted that their country could be free and they could have their own constitution. They also could have their own territory or their own boundary comprised of the various small states. So all over Europe, the demand for creation of nation states on parliamentary principle, a constitution, freedom of press and freedom of association. The people all over the Europe, they demanded a nation states which comprised or which could be based on a constitution where the freedom of press and freedom of association could be there. In the German region of large number of political associations whose members were middle class professionals, businessmen and prosperous artisans came together in the city of Frankfurt to decide to vote for all German nation assembly. So German nations, a large number of people of German or large German people, they gathered in the city of Frankfurt and they decided to vote to the All German National Assembly. All German National Assembly, which was the party. So on 18th May 1848, 831 elected representatives marched in the festival procession to take part in the Frankfurt Parliament, and this Parliament was convened in the Church of St. Paul. So German 831 representatives which were elected, they moved to the Parliament, Frankfurt Parliament, and Frankfurt Parliament was convened or started its proceedings in St. Paul Church. So they drafted a constitution for German nation and to be headed by monarchy subject to a parliament. So they also, the German people, they drafted National Assembly, All German State Assembly, All German National Assembly. They drafted a constitution and the monarch was the subject of parliament. When the representative proposed the name of the monarch, who was the Prussia king, his name was Frederick Wilhelm IV. So the elected representative proposed the name of Prussia king, Frederick Wilhelm IV, for monarch of Germany. So Frederick Wilhelm IV rejected the proposal of the representative, and Frederick Wilhelm IV joined those monarchs who opposed the elected assembly. So Frederick Wilhelm opposed or denied to become the monarch of Germany, and he joined the another group of monarchs who opposed the elected assembly. While the opposition of the aristocracy and military became stronger, and military at the same time, military and aristocracy, they opposed, and their opposition, aristocracy and military, which became stronger, and the social basis of parliament became weaker. So all German national all German National Federation that became weak, and this the social basis of parliament that also became weaker. So all German National Party, which was voted by the middle classes, became weaker. The parliament was dominated by the middle class who opposed the demand of workers and nations. So parliament, Frankfurt Parliament, where 831 representatives were there, and these representatives, they denied to support the workers and artisans, denied to give the rights to the workers and artisans, and as a result they also lost the support of the workers and artisans. So in the end, you can say the army were called and the assembly was forced to disband. So the issue of extending political rights to women remain uncertain. The women had not get the right. No doubt the women also took active part in the freedom struggle along with the liberals. They also formed their own political associations, founded newspapers, taken part in the political meetings, demonstrations or dharnas. So all this was done by the women. This you can call it feminist movement, means awareness of women's rights. Feminist movement means, or feminist means awareness of women's rights, an interest based on belief of the social, economic and political equality of the genders. In spite of all these political activities, women were not given the universal adult suffrage, which was given to the male members only. Women were stood in the gallery to see the proceedings of the Frankfurt Parliament, which was convened in the St. Paul Church. You can see in the source C of your book, page 17, that liberal political Karl Welcker and a political activist, Louis Otto Peter, defined liberty and equality of a woman. So these liberal politicians, how they opposed how they defined the liberty and equality of a woman. So in generally, what the earlier activist said about the women, that women just, they could see the homely affair, they could nurture the baby, they could look after the children, and so these all things which was given in source C, you can read it. So after the movement of 1848, the aristocratic monarchies of Central and Eastern Europe had granted changes which was already existed in Western Europe before 1815. So revolt which occurred in Europe in 1848, the autocratic monarchies of Central and Eastern Europe granted so many changes which was already occurred in Western Europe before 1815. Serfdom and bonded labor were abolished both in Habsburg dominion and in Russia. So bonded labor, serfdom, that all this landless laborer, all these rules that was abolished, and Habsburg rulers granted more autonomy or sovereignty to the Hungarian in 1867. So in this way you have seen that how the revolt of 1830 and 1848 brought several changes in Europe, so many relaxation which was given to the poor people, and universal adult suffrage was granted to male only. Unfortunately, women could not get the universal adult suffrage or right to vote. We will see the unit 4, the making of the Germany and Italy, in our next class. Thank you.